Why are you smoking? So take a moment and just ask yourself, why are you smoking? What is actually going on in your life to where smoking seems to be a viable solution? What exactly is motivating you to smoke and smoke consistently? And if you ask yourself this enough, and you really kind of do some honest thinking, a lot of people end up finding that they're smoking from some kind of stress in their life. It's quite simple. It can be anything really, but it's really just some kind of overwhelming stress in their life is causing them so much pain and discomfort that they feel the need to escape, to change how they feel from that issue as quickly as possible because it seems like it's the only solution. So by pulling up a joint and smoking it, or any other form that you may be doing, that tends to be the way that people start dealing with their emotional issues. This is the best part because what happens if you don't change this approach in your life? What if you stay high all the time? What if you are always smoking the moment you find you're uncomfortable in your life? Something is going on that's uncomfortable. Again, it can be anything. Jobs, relationships, where you live, where you want to be. Does not matter. What happens if you don't change anything, but you just keep doing what you're doing? And doing that 10 years from now. Doing that 20 years from now. 30 years from now. Because some of the clients that I've actually seen have been doing this for pretty much all of their life. 30, 40, 50 years of their life. They had been chronically smoking it away, escaping their reality. It might have started off just as recreational, with friends, to be social, to fit in. But as life happened, as bills came on, responsibilities, deaths in the family, trauma, setbacks, inflation, whatever you want to call it, some stressors, that started to be reached for more and more. That started to become the solution. And what you'll find is a lot of the times the people that have chronically turned to smoking for a solution, they don't really do much more than go to work to spend the money that they need to spend on their smokes so that they can smoke to go back to work. They don't really change much in their life. And when you do that for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and that becomes it's insufferable. You can't even bear it anymore. You can't escape anymore. And now you have to face the fact that you don't want to keep doing this. That's a long time and a lot of money for some people spent on marijuana, especially now that the industry is starting to legalize it everywhere. It's becoming very costly as well. And it's not just, you're buying flour. It's now turning into gummies, chocolates, and dabs and paraphernalia and all these other things that people start buying up that tend to gravitate towards marijuana. It's not something that just instantly happens. It's kind of something that develops. As you smoke more of it, you get more things in your environment to support that theme in your life. it's hippie, or it's it fits, but it's the vibe. But really what happens is it starts to become a over dominating theme in your life. So if you really tune in yourself, even if you're high, and just say, why am I doing this? If there's any pain there, any discomfort there, any anxiety, depression, overwhelm, just any negative emotion, why haven't you changed anything in your life? I mean, if you could change that thing in your life, I'm assuming you would. Because if anybody could just flip a light switch on the wall and be done with anxiety or be done with depression, I think most people would choose to do that. But that's not the case, because a lot of people may consciously have a general idea of what's going on. Oh, I'm smoking because I hate my job. Well, you dig a little deeper, you ask some questions, and you might find out, well, they really hate the way that their boss talks to them. And then we go through a session, and at the end of their session, they look back and they're like, wow, I can't believe that's what I came in for. They have such a profound shift inside the session that they can't even relate to why they came in the first place. And yes, they may have had an understanding that, oh, I've been smoking because I hate my job. But really, when it comes down to it, it's much, much deeper. It's much deeper than, oh, I don't speak up for myself. And sometimes it's, well, I had this really horrible experience growing up, and, my father yelled at me, and now I've been scared my whole life to self-advocate. I don't speak up for myself. And, so that is a theme within the problem. But it's not just that either. There's the fear of, I'm not that good at anything, so why do I apply to a new job? And that may have come from, something else in their life. They may have tried to apply to several jobs at one point, and it just didn't seem like anything came back. If anything, they got rejected a whole bunch by other corporations that they just were like, well, I guess this is the only job for me. So really, when you start to unpack what's going on, because people have suppressed themselves through escapism, and you get to the root cause. And sometimes there's multiple things. And when we resolve those things, because they are shifted on a subconscious level, you change the dynamic within your mind even, and how you feel. Now you don't feel that way anymore. You're like, yeah, fuck that job. I'm not going back there. If anything, I know I can go get a job over here, and I don't know why. I just never thought of that as a solution before. Well, it's because your brain was stuck on the problems. And, this is something you could probably relate to. If you're having an argument or you're going through a difficult time in your life, you're not going to be the best at, doing math problems. You're not going to be the best at reading a book. You're just not going to perform at your best versus when you're in a calm and relaxed state. And when you deal with issues in your life, you become a calmer version of yourself. But when you're problematic internally, you actually show up a lot more, unhealthily. So you may have issues with people that you don't realize are stemming from your approach. You may be known as an asshole because people were very blunt and rude to you, and that's how you've learned to also communicate with others. Someone taught you that's normal, that's loving, and so you believe it. You feel that you're doing something good. You don't even think you're doing any wrong, but you go home and smoke up because you're tired of people calling you an asshole, because you feel like you're a good person, you're trying to do good things, but your approach is unconscious. You don't realize that actually the way that you've communicated with people is the very reason people are being nasty to you, because you're not being considerate of others. So I've had so many different examples, so many different shifts from clients that took the time to really investigate, why am I smoking? Why am I escaping my life? And once they get through that session, they get it. It's no longer something that they have a best guess at. It's something they truly understand and now can no longer relate to. And if anything, they have this resource, this feeling within them of changing. Because I could tell you, you need to work out more. It'll make you a healthier person. But unless if you feel motivated, even when you're less motivated, you're not going to do it. That's why some people do it and some people don't. Someone feels like going to the gym and the other person feels like picking up more food. Just that simple. So if you want to shift that internal state, you're going to have to deal with the subconscious issues that are triggering those feelings within you. When you're ready, hit me up.